Everything's going to plan. Look at all these souls. Turn around. That's funny. I thought for a moment you actually.
Everything's set. Almost everything. The last few weeks have been hard, and I admit I haven't been at my best. But I know we can make it. We just have to see what brings along. And takedown isn't.
It's okay, Ruby.
We agree.
Ten fears are simple to see. But look, I'm kind of a difficult person. I'm really blunt. Short fuse, highly aggressive. My whole life is based on I felt like we thought same. You're excited. All the notebooks are just.
The moment you've been waiting for. Here, 5-year reigning champs of the International Awards Auction.
If it exists, the whole universe is connected. I'm glad to see destroyed.
Well done. Red Kettle.
numerous studies Euclid has examined the neurobiology of PTSD in Holocaust survivors and children. Her research on cortisol in particular, stress hormone levels are during normal having experienced trauma, and its effects on brain function has revolutionized the understanding and treatment of PTSD worldwide. People with PTSD relive feelings and sensations associated with the trauma, despite the fact that the trauma occurred in the past. Symptoms include depression, anxiety, numbness, insomnia, nightmares, frightening thoughts, and being easily scared or on edge. Euclid and her team found that children of Holocaust survivors who had PTSD or with low cortisol levels similar to their parents, predisposing them to relive the PTSD symptoms of the previous generation. Her discovery of low cortisol levels in people who experience acute traumatic event has been controversial, going against the long-held notion that stress is associated with high cortisol levels. Specifically, in cases of chronic PTSD, cortisol production can become suppressed, contributing to the low levels measured in both survivors and the children. Euclid discovered similar low cortisol levels in people and veterans, as well as in pregnant mothers who develop PTSD after World Trade Center attacks and in their children. Not only did she find that the survivors who were studied less cortisol, a characteristic that can pass on to children, she notes that several stress-related psychiatric disorders, including PTSD, chronic pain syndrome, and chronic fatigue syndrome, are associated with low blood levels of cortisol. Interestingly, 50 to 70% of PTSD patients also meet diagnostic criteria for major depression or mental mood or anxiety disorder. Euclid's research demonstrates that women are 3 times more likely to experience symptoms of PTSD if one of their parents have PTSD. As a result, more likely to suffer from depression or anxiety. She believes that this type of generation of PTSD is inherited, rather than occurring from exposed from parents' stories of their abuse. Euclid was one of the first researchers to show how symptoms of trauma survivors carry the physical and emotional symptoms of traumas they have not directly experienced. That was the case with Gretchen. After years of taking antidepressants, attending talk, and therapy sessions, and trying various cognitive approaches that mitigated the effects of stress, her symptoms of depression and anxiety may have changed. Gretchen told me she no longer wanted to live. For as long as she could remember, she had struggled with emotions so intense, she could barely contain surges in her body. Gretchen had been admitted several times to a psychiatric hospital where she was diagnosed with bipolar with a severe anxiety disorder. Medication brought her slight relief, but never touched the powerful suicidal urges that lived inside her. As a teenager, she was self-injured by burning herself while lit a cigarette. Now at 39, Gretchen had had enough. Her depression and anxiety, she said, prevented her from having married and having children. It surprisingly matter of fact her voice. She told me that she was planning to commit suicide before her next birthday. Listening to Gretchen, I had a strong sense that there must be significant trauma in her family history. In such cases, I find it essential to pay close attention to words being spoken for clues to a dramatic event underlying the symptoms. When I asked her when she planned to kill herself, Gretchen said she was going to vaporize herself. As incomprehensible as it might sound to most of us, her plan was literally to leap into a vat of molten steel that would melt her own work. Her body will incinerate in seconds, she said, staring directly in my eyes, even before it reaches the body. I was struck by her lack of emotion as she spoke. Whatever feeling lay beneath appeared to have been vaulted deep inside. At the same time, the words vaporize and incinerate round inside me. Having worked with many children and grandchildren whose families were affected by the Holocaust, I learned to let the words leave me. I wanted Gretchen to tell me more. I asked if anyone in her family was Jewish and involved in the Holocaust. Gretchen started to say no, but then stopped herself and recalled a story about her grandmother. She had been born into a Jewish family in Poland, but converted to Catholicism. She came to the United States in 1946 and married Gretchen's grandfather. 2 years earlier, her grandmother's entire family had perished in the Auschwitz. They had literally been gassed, engulfed in poisonous vapors, and incinerated. And feel her grandmother's feelings in her own body. Gretchen reported sensations of overwhelming loss and grief, aloneness and isolation. She also had a sense of meaninglessness after loved ones had died. In order to process trauma and self-control, replies to have a direct experience of feelings and sensations that concerns her body. When Gretchen was able to access these sensations, she realized that her wish to annihilate herself was deeply entwined with her lost family members. She also realized that she had taken on something from her grandmother designed to die. As Gretchen absorbed this understanding, seeing the film story in her light, her body began to soften, as if something inside her that had long been cleared out could now relax. As with Jessie, Gretchen's recognition of her trauma during her family's unspoken history was merely the first step in her healing process. An intellectual understanding by itself is rarely enough for lasting shift to occur. Often, the awareness needs to be accompanied by a deeply felt physical experience. We'll explore further the ways in which healing is fully integrated, so that the wounds of previous generations can finally be released. An unexpected family inheritance. A boy may have his grandma's long legs, and a girl may have her mother's nose, but Jessie had inherited his uncle's fear of men awakening, and Gretchen carried the family's Holocaust history and their depression. Sleeping inside each of them were fragments of traumas too great to be resolved in one generation. When those in our family have experienced unbearable traumas, or have suffered immense guilt or grief, the feelings can be overwhelming, and can escalate beyond what they can manage or resolve. It's human nature. When pain is too great, people tend to avoid it. Yet when we block the feelings, we unknowingly stop the necessary healing process. It can lead us to a natural release. Sometimes pain emerges, but doesn't find a pathway for expression or resolution. That expression is often found in generations that follow, and can resurface as symptoms that are difficult to explain. For Jessie, the unwilling to cold and shivering did not appear until he reached the age that called when he first knew. For Gretchen, her grandmother's anxious despair and suicidal urges had been with her for as long as she could remember. These feelings became so much a part of her life that no one ever thought to consider the feelings did originate with her. Currently, our society does not provide the options available for Jessie and Gretchen, who carry remnants of inherited family trauma. They might consult a doctor, psychologist, or psychiatrist, and receive medications, therapy, or symptom relation. But although these avenues might bring some relief, often they don't provide a complete solution. Not all of us have traumas as dramatic as Gretchen's or Jessie's in our family history. However, events such as the death of an infant, a child given away, or loss of one's home.
Congratulations ulit sa ating lahat. Ito na naman ang ganda ng pagutahanan. So thank you.
Hindi ka alis, ah. Ikaw umalis ka na. Ikaw na po ako. Sinabi na umalis ka. Hindi ka naman magiging masaya para sa akin. Ano bakit? Ano gusto mo? Matuwa ako? Ha? Mag-celebrate ako? Congrats? Uy, kayo din naman ang bata. Yung mga pinag-aaral kita. Tapos alis ka lang kayo sa akin. Sa tingin mo hindi nakakagalit ka.
Ang totoo nagagalit ka kasi may iiwan ka naman mag-isa.
Hindi mo masyado.
Nagagalit ka kasi kahit kailan hindi mo mararanasan
Galing ang nawawala. Kahit nga yung taong nagsumpa sa akin. Wala din eh. Kasi mahal ko siya. Yung nanay ko. Pero kung ano kung sinabi niya sa akin nun, naging sinabi ang buhay ko na dahil sa'yo. Ang buhay ko na panahon ng wala akong
Gusto ko yung maranasan ko bumalik at makabunti. Gusto ko magkaanak. Gusto ko magkamamilya. Gusto ko yun. Gusto ko yun. Gusto ko magmahal. Gusto ko maranasan yung mahalin ako. Yung pagmamahal na hindi nawawala kahit ano mangyari. Nandiyan lang siya.
Sari, I just want to be happy.
Sure, maganda bang i-happy, Jolo eh. Kasi, nakapasaya ka ng ibang tao.
Sino?
Ako. Oo, alas 2 na. Birthday ko na.
Happy birthday. Sari. Sari. Pareho tayo makangiti na.
Jolo. Oh, yan mo tayo mapalagising ka na. Salamat sa talaga ha. Si Sir Jolo, wala pa naman tayo.
Yung naalala sa amin ko. Also, may small surprise, Pastor. Masyal tayo sa ilalim ng cherry blossoms. Sige na, huwag ka na mahiya. Sige na. Tayo. Ngayon, imagine mo, nandito ang lahat ng ito. Sari. Sari. Sari.
Pwede, hindi pwede.
Sari.
Hindi pwede, Jolo.
Hindi pwede. Sari, ano nangyayari sa'yo?
Hindi nga ito pwede.
Sari. Sari, Sari. Sari, Sari. Nandito ako. Nandito ako.
Jolo, hindi nga ito pwede. May sumpa ako, sinumpa ako.
Sari. Hindi ako nakakasumpa. Sari, aminin ko. Alam ko na malamig ko pagsumpa. Sinabi ko sa sarili ko, magpapahalik ako sa'yo para magkahanap ako. Sa respeto na sabihin natin tayo, dahil alam mo na sa isip buhay ko. Kasi hindi ka kinagalingan. Hindi kita mo kailangan sa para buhay. Sari, you're an amazing person who just buhay.
Jolo, huwag na ako kailangan ulit. Yung tupati ko muna, hindi ko na kakayanin. At sigurado ako na mawawala ka. Kasi bakit nakita?
Cholo, you're carrying a lot of debt. Don't tell me you're changing your mind. Selling could put you out of trouble. Ano ba?
Hindi kami papayag. Namin ang tahanan mo.
Sure ko. Di ba kayo network? Ako ba may-ari ng tahanan ko? Binenta mo sa akin, Cholo.
Uy, hindi. Hindi magagawa sa akin ni Cholo yan.
Pare, sila rin mo Cholo.
pwede yung